All right, in this video, we're going to be talking about the basics of a credit card, and this will be day one of two, so be sure to check out day two's video when it comes out. All right, let's get started. All right, first off, a credit card is a pretty elementary explanation here. A credit card, pretty much everybody knows what a credit card is, a small plastic card issued by a financial institution, allowing the holder to purchase goods on services and credit. Usually what that means is buying on credit typically means you buy now and then pay for it later. All right, that's basically what credit means. All right, so 10 surprising credit card debt facts. I just pulled this on the internet here. And so I'm just going to not really talk about them, but I'm just kind of giving you the just the preview of it, so to speak. All right, basically, what it all pretty much comes down to, and that is most people, when it comes to a credit card, they typically have a debt, and this is on average of $6,000. And what's interesting about having a debt on a credit card, sometimes it can take up to a decade to pay off just a balance that's a little less than 5,000. All right, so again, a lot of different, lot of information given to you guys. You can read it, and then and I'll get one last thing. Men have more debt than women. Men typically have 7,000. Men. This is where I got all the information. So I can't remember exactly what year this came out, but anyway, so there we go. All right, again, moving on. A credit card debt is not a good debt. I'll let you kind of read that when it comes to advantages and disadvantages. Of course, answers and opinions will vary depending on who you ask. One of the advantages of having credit card is that obviously you don't have to carry cash around, but it's also easy to overspend too. That's where a lot of folks get into trouble. All right. Again, where people get in trouble is when they start paying interest on carrying balances from month to month, annual fees, credit card fraud, things of that nature. Again, all dangers that come with owning a credit card. Now, there's two different types of credit. There's one that is revolving charge account, which this is where most credit cards fall into, and that is whatever you don't pay one month, it gets pushed onto on the next month. To whereas a charge card, and that is whatever is charged must be paid off by the end of the month. And of course, you probably have a severe penalty, but most credit cards are going to be in the revolving charge card account. All right, so let's kind of talk a couple things. First off, again, just kind of stick with the basics here. Frank lost his credit card in the mall. He notified his creditor before the card was used. However, later that day, someone found the card and charged $700 worth of hockey equipment. How much is Frank responsible for? Now, with a credit card comes responsibility. So if you are in charge of your credit card, if something was to happen, you are responsible in notifying the appropriate, the people that your financial institution or whoever issued the card to say, hey, card is stolen. Please do not accept any charges. Now, in this situation, Frank did his due diligence and he contacted before the card was used. Now, I will say this is kind of an older question nowadays. If a credit or if a purchase is considered fraudulent, I think there's a lot more protection from from the customer as opposed to maybe when this question was asked. Maybe again, I've never lost my credit card, but maybe um, there might be a charge in to replace the card. I'm not sure, but because of the fact that he contacted his creditor before the purchase, he is not responsible. All right. All right. Question number two, and again, I know I already have answers on here. I just wanted to save a little time with that first introduction on the good and bad things of a credit card. All right, so first off, just a couple things. The APR. All right, the APR is what is called the annual percentage rate. Now, the annual percentage rate is just known as like the yearly percentage rate. All right. Now, although the percentage rate is advertised as annual, a lot of times you'll be asked to find the monthly. Now, to convert annual to monthly is very simple because all you would do is take the annual percentage and simply just divide it by 12. And I mean, that's it. So just divide it by 12. And so when you do that, you end up with an answer of 1.8%. Okay. Now, this will come this will be important as we are working through this video, but again, the takeaway is the APR to go to the monthly percentage or the monthly percentage rate, just simply divide by 12. All right. So this is probably where most we're going to be focusing in on, and that is this. Rebecca did not pay her last month's credit card bill in full. So with a credit card, you will have a penalty if you do not pay off card in full. So that means if you owe $1,000 at the end of the month, you have to pay $1,000. Okay? If you don't, and I misspelled penalty, there it is. If you don't pay, meaning let's say if you had $1,000 in bills, credit card bill, and you only pay, let's just say $800, you are going to carry a balance into the next month, which means you'll be penalized. All right. Now, in order to figure out the penalty, the first thing that the credit card companies have to do is find what is called the average daily balance. Now, this right here is information regarding Rebecca's credit card account. Okay. It says for 7 days she owed $456. So all these numbers are various amounts that she's owed throughout the particular month. Now, mathematically, this is what you have to do, and that is this: where it says 7 days, you would take 7 and you would times it by the balance. So when you do that, that gives you $3,192.77, and you go down line by line. All right, now this is pretty monotonous. I mean, it's pretty simple. For 3 days, she owed $1,177.60, so I'm going to multiply 3 times that number, and I get 32.80. And then the next one for 6 days, 6 times 990.08. Multiply it all out, and you get 59.40.48. For 9 days, again, 9 times 2,115.15, you get 19,036.35. And then lastly, for 5 days, pretty much you get the pattern here at this point. You multiply the days by the amount that they owe, and that is 11, 1, 5, 4, 5, 65. All right, so that's step 1. Now, step 2 is to take all of these numbers that you just found and add them all up. All right, so got to add them all up now. So when you do that, you get $43,248.05. Okay, now this right here is the average day. Okay, last thing, we have to find the average. Okay, now here's what you have to do: add up all of the days that are listed in this problem. So 73695, that is 30 days. Okay, so that means you are going to take this number that you got, which is right over here, and you are going to divide it by 30 days. And so when you do that, you will actually get the average daily balance of $1,441.60. This guy right here. Okay, so again, divided by 30, and you get yourself what is called the average daily balance. All right, now let's try another one. But before we do, again, I've already touched on this, but here's a visual. What happens when you do not pay off your credit card at the end of the month? You have what is called credit card debt. All right, it's whatever you didn't pay off, the finance charge, as well as any interest. All right, so all of that kind of spirals and snowballs into what is called credit card debt. That's why it's so easy to get in credit card debt and so difficult to get out. All right, so here we go. We are going to do the exact same thing. Find Joe's average daily balance. All right, so let me pause the video. All right, so just pausing the video so we can go ahead and put all those numbers in. All right, all of this added together and I'm going to do two things at once. I'm going to add all this up, and I'm also going to add all the days up as well, just to figure out how many days we have. All right, so when I add all this mess up, it ends up being 23,071.81. I'm going to divide that by 30 days. So I'm going to divide by 30 days. Now, don't fall in love that it's going to be 30 days every single time. All right, sometimes it might be 31 days, sometimes it might be less. So, again, don't fall into a habit of thinking it's always going to be 30 days. So, the average daily balance ends up being $769.06. All right, now continue from the previous question. Because Joe did not pay off his credit card, he has to pay a finance charge on his average daily balance. His APR is 18%. What is his finance charge? All right, so this is what we need to pay attention to, and that is this. To find the finance charge, you have to take the average daily balance and then multiply it by the MPR. MPR, there. Now, we have his APR. Okay, so this is kind of what we started with. The APR being 18, we have to convert it to the MPR. So we're going to take 18% and divide it by 12 to get 1.5%. Okay, so to find his finance charge, we'll multiply the average daily balance, which was 769.06, times it by the MPR as a decimal, 0.015. And when we do that, there you go. So his finance charge is going to be $11.54, which means he has to pay an additional, there it is, he has to pay that with his next credit card, bill. All right. So that is the basics of what we're doing for day one. Make sure you tune in for day two. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.